Yeah, it's snowing. I think that's cooled off enough. Yeehaw. We're still working on the harvest here in Illinois. Everybody's in a panic. The weather's supposed to turn south at the end of the week, so they're trying to get as much done as possible before that happens. My neighbors are picking corn. They lost their truck driver. Guess he had an obligation. I don't know, some reservations in Las Vegas or something he couldn't get out of. Anyway, he took off for that, so I'm filling in as a truck driver today. Well, normally they'd be done with the harvest by now. You know, certainly by the end of October, everything would be wrapped up in a normal year. The problem this year was the derecho storm that came through, I don't know, about 2 months ago. And it really took a toll on the corn crop. You see how this corn's all blown over, laying down. And it's like that everywhere. Even in fields where it looks good from the outside, in the middle it's all like this. So they're having to go real slow. They're using a reel attachment on the corn head, and then a lot of times they're having to go only in one direction. I even heard about some people that were picking corn by hand. Well, here's my ride. It's a 1991 Kenworth T800. He's had it painted and it's got all the fancy chrome doodads on it. Looks sharp. Runs good, but it is not fast. It has a Caterpillar 3176 engine, which is basically the smallest engine that they would have ever put into an 18-wheel rig like this. I think that's a 10.3 liter engine. I want to say it has maybe 300 horsepower, about 1,000 pound-feet of torque. It's pretty comparable to the L10 engine in my rollback, except this is computer controlled, and it does have Jake brakes, which is kind of nice. But works good as long as you're not in a hurry. All aluminum rims, 24 5s. The trailer is a Wilson Pace Setter 40-foot double bottom hopper trailer. All aluminum air ride suspension. And it even has a remote control electric tarp, which is pretty fancy. So normally this rig would be legal for 80,000 pounds, but hauling crops during the harvest, we're allowed to go 10% over, so you're actually allowed to gross 88,000 pounds with this setup. And that's all that little cat engine wants, believe me. But luckily it's a pretty straight shot to the grain elevator. It's only about 8 miles away, relatively flat. There's only one stop, so it's pretty manageable. Well, for being 30 years old, the interior is pretty nice too. This has kind of a deluxe gauge package. So in addition to the normal gauges, it also has like a turbo boost gauge, a pyrometer, gauges for the air suspension pressure, brake application pressure, rear axle temperature, that kind of stuff. The glove box won't stay shut. It pops open and bounces all over while you're driving, but I've kind of gotten used to that. Air seat on the driver's side. It also has power windows. These are air powered windows. And it has a 9-speed Eaton Fuller transmission. So the way this works, there's 5 actual gear positions. So up and forward is reverse. That's low. And then it's a standard 4-speed H pattern. And on the front of the lever here is a little switch, and that shifts you between high and low range. So when we start out, I'll be back here in the low position. This truck doesn't have a lot of power and we're on soft ground, so we'll tear the clutch up if we try to start in a higher gear. Then we're going to shift through all 5 gears on the low side, and then you'll see me flip this switch up, and that'll pneumatically shift the transmission into the high range. And then I'll shift through the H pattern, the 4-speed H pattern again, and that'll get me in my top 4 gears, 6, 7, 8, and 9. This is a non-synchronized transmission, so I'm going to shift it without using the clutch. You can double clutch. I never learned how to double clutch, so I probably couldn't even do it if I tried. It takes a while to get used to it, but And once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. Well, this is the most common setup that you see in our area. So the combine's going to unload into this auger wagon. We call it a grain cart. And he can do that while he's moving, so he never actually has to stop. The problem is that the grain cart here only holds enough grain to fill my trailer about 2/3 full. So he'll dump on that twice, and then she'll unload that into the trailer. And then once he gets one more hopper full, he'll come over and unload that directly in the trailer, and then I'll be full. Well, that's what we're worried about. The rain is coming. It's supposed to be thunderstorms tonight and tomorrow. And then once the front moves through, the high temperatures are supposed to be only in the 40s Fahrenheit and well below freezing at night. And the problem then is, even if it doesn't rain, it doesn't get warm enough to really dry things out. So yeah, it's going to be a big problem. That's it, we're full. That's so cool. How many thousand times have I manually rolled a tarp in my life? Looks good. Alright, that blue arm right there is going to take a sample of our corn and measure the moisture content. They can do it all remotely from inside the scale house. And now we're ready to go. Our turn, and we're going to pull up here on top of the unloading pit.
Now, if this rain would quit right now, it'd be good.
Content was, all that good stuff. Now I gotta wait for him to give me a thumbs up. So we were pretty light on that load, 76,400. And it was pretty wet, 17.5%. So right now the elevator runs 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. and the process starts over. Man, what a mess. The problem is when the corn's down like that, he can't tell where the rows are. So he keeps getting off one row, or he ends up at the other end of the field and he's a row short, or he's missed a row completely. It's a mess. Alright guys, that's all there is to it. It's pretty boring really. It takes me about 45 minutes to make the round trip to the elevator and back. And if the things are going well, they're usually ready for me when I get back. But you see it's going really slow. I even stopped at my house and picked up a few things on the way there, and they still haven't gotten 3 combine hoppers full. So it's a tough year. Well, there's my ride. It's the end of my shift. Thanks for watching, everybody.